Member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Ohio Republican Rob Portman. Appreciate your time this afternoon, Senator. Great to see you. So that was quite a moment that we saw from President Trump at the White House earlier. What did you think of it?
There's a crisis at the border, no question about it. We had a hearing today, actually, in the Homeland Security Committee, and we had the professionals there, the people who are actually on the border, Border Patrol, Customs and Border Protection, the ICE folks. We also had someone there from HHS because they handle these unaccompanied kids. And it's unprecedented. We've got 4,000 people a day now coming over, more families and kids than ever, more than when President Obama called it a crisis several years ago. So we do need to do more. Congress has acted, as you know, recently to provide more funding, and that's necessary, and that's starting to help.
But that's not enough, we hear, Senator. And what you heard from the president is that the laws need to be changed. And what you hear from those professionals on the ground at the border is that they need Congress to act. So what is Congress doing?
Yeah, money's not enough, because until you change the laws, you'll continue to have this magnet of people coming to the United States. So we provided more funding. That's good. There's more barriers being put up. There's more Border Patrol being hired. We need more than actually the Congress appropriated, but it was the most ever. We need more judges. We said another 75 judges. We need even more. Here's the problem, Sandra. When someone comes to the United States and they're a family from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, they're being told by the traffickers, and it's true, you ask for asylum, and then during the time at which you have to wait for your asylum hearing, you're allowed to go into the United States, into the community. And that time period, it's 40 days on average before there's even the preliminary test as to whether you qualify. The actual court case takes much longer than that. That's just unacceptable, because then often these people don't show up, and 85% of these people are being turned down for asylum eventually. But a lot of them then have already disappeared into the countryside. So that's the issue. And until we deal with that, it's going to be hard to keep people from coming up. There are ways to do it. There's something called the Flores decision that needs to be amended. This is a court decision that does not allow us to have people in detention with children for more than 20 days. But then there's also this broader issue of how do you speed up this system quickly to be able to get people adjudicated quickly?
Senator, I don't know if I sense optimism in your voice over whether or not Congress is going to be willing to come together and act on this issue. I hear the urgency from you, but here was the president earlier responding to reporters inside the White House. Things took went another level when talking about the child separation policy. Here's the president.
President Obama had child separation. Take a look. The press knows it. You know it. We all know it. I'm the one that stopped it. President Obama had child separation. Now, I'll tell you something. Once you don't have it, that's why you see many more people coming. They're coming like it's a picnic.
Obviously, the president's zero tolerance policy came into play. That was quickly pointed out by reporters in the room. But if I could, Senator, have you directly respond to the president there.
Yeah, what the president is talking about is that this Flores decision I just talked about does not let the family stay together, because in detention, if you get up to 20 days, you've reached that limit under Flores with regard to the kids. So then the question is, do you have the family go into the community, or do you separate the kids from the parents? Separating the kids from the parents is something the Trump administration chose not to do because it wasn't working well. We didn't have the infrastructure. It's caused a lot of issues. As you know, we finally have got those kids back with their appropriate family members. I do not support separating the families, but I do support changing that Flores decision so you can keep people in a family unit. That's the whole point, and that's what the president has called for. It requires a change in law. You can't just do it, through executive action or more money. It's a change in the law to be able to say, well, Congress has looked at this. We've decided this is not working.
All right. Finally, if I could, Senator, we have just a short time left here, but a lot to get to with you. Some Republicans voicing concerns over the departures at Homeland Security. Since you're on the committee, just want to ask you if you share in those concerns, sir.
Well, I thought Kristen Nielsen did a good job. She was under, the conditions we just talked about, where you got people pouring in over the border. She did come up here and ask us for more money. We did provide it. She was always, I met with her last week up here, where she was saying we got to change the laws. So she was out there advocating as an effective advocate. The other person that people talked about.
I got a few seconds left, Senator, if you could finish
the other
your
person
point.
people talked about, and they've thrown this together, say, well, she's gone, and now also the head of Secret Service is gone. It's a whole different issue. This guy, James Murray, who they've appointed to be head of Secret Service, is terrific. And he's a Secret Service veteran.
Senator,
and I think he's going to be
important discussion to be had.
He's going to be a great leader.
We'll get you back on the program. All right, we've got a lot more